Hello, and welcome to Voices Unleashed. My name is Alexandra Babbel, and I am your host for this beautiful and fantastically optimistic new episode in which we celebrate voices in our community that have influenced us and have gone beyond. And today with me, I have my friend Jordan Chase. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you here.
I'm sorry I was late. Number one, I'm sorry I was late.
No one knows that. Nobody knows all about it.
I wasn't late.
Yeah. So I've invited Jordan here because I want you to know all about his journey as a musician, as a voice technician, and as an artist going forward. So it's interesting, before the camera started rolling, we were thinking about when is the beginning of our relationship? When was the beginning of our relationship?
It was almost 20 years ago. I think I was in my early 20s. I'm 41 now. And
good thing he's the only one getting older.
And I was having trouble with my vocal cords.
Yeah, you were a singer at that time. You were singing.
I would say I was a screamer at that time.
Which is cool.
I was in a band called Stutterfly. We were just starting to do some showcases for like major labels and stuff.
I know.
And my voice kind of just started giving out, and we were kind of known, like our sound was really known around like the screaming.
Right,
so
right. The passionate sound that you guys had.
Yeah, heavier kind of metal stuff. And for me to lose my voice and lose my scream and feel that pain in my vocal cords, it was scary for me. So I went to a throat specialist, and they put the camera down my nose and everything.
It's called a laryngoscope, and if anybody cares, it feels terrible, right? But they look and see how your cords are adducting and abducting.
Yeah, so they had diagnosed me with vocal nodes, 3 of them to be exact. So over the years of just overuse and touring nonstop, and they're just calluses on your vocal cords. And they wanted to do surgery. So go into my throat and cut them off. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. So
you don't want to do that. Some musicians have had that done, and that's the end of their singing altogether.
Yes. Right. So I was pointed in your direction.
Yay!
Yeah.
Then I got the phone call, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, here I am, an opera singer, and here's another person who's going to ask me for the magic pill as to how to fix their voice in one session, and I don't know if I can do that. So I said I would take you with the caveat that you would do 2 things. I think I asked you to stop smoking.
Yep.
And not speak for 6 weeks. So who
6
doesn't?
weeks.
Who would do that? Nobody would do that. I thought I'd probably put him off. There, I'm good. Because I thought, I don't know, because sometimes people are not sincere when they want to really actually be fixed. The difference is you were very sincere. So here I was.
Yes.
I'm in Venice. I don't know if you know this part.
What?
I'm touring through Venice 2 weeks after our conversation, and I went to the cafe to check my email, and there was an email from you. Dear Alexandra, you used to call me Sandra. Dear Sandra, 2 weeks down, 4 to go.
Yes.
And I went, there's no way this dude is doing it. So I called your home.
I remember that.
And your wife at the time answered the phone and said, I'm sorry, he cannot come to the phone. He is actually on vocal rest. He's doing it. I immediately called my husband, John. I said, John, this person is actually doing it. This person he means it. So when I got back from my tour, we started to work after you really actually did it. Now, unfortunately, when you can't talk to your wife for 6 weeks, you can't say I love you and stuff. So sorry about that. But anyways.
It's okay. It didn't work out anyways.
Okay. And life goes on and everybody's happy. That's good.
Totally.
But you came back to me and you started to work with me. Frankly, we started with just your speaking voice, how to even begin to speak again, let alone sing.
Yeah, I actually remember when I called you, I had said maybe 2 sentences, and you said, oh my. He was like, your voice is shot.
Yeah, I could hear the nodes in your speaking voice.
You were like, oh dear.
Yeah.
And so
there's a shredding sort of sound to the tone. It's not one pitch, but several. It's hard to explain, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I remember being so excited to finally speak again after those 6 weeks with your vocal sessions. And you're like, we're not saying any words. We're just going to do some slight through the nose. And I was like, so I don't get to speak still. And I think it was another week till the next session after that. And so
Right.
You lied to me.
Sorry, not sorry.
But yeah, I remember it being very like, I was like, come on, please.
I know, but
So,
the fact that you hung in there, that's
Yeah.
incredible. And the fact that you were able to cancel that ostensible surgery.
yeah. And what really blew me away is that you wanted me to speak properly. I was like, I speak fine. Like, what do you know? And then once you started teaching me how to actually like where it should be coming from,
Yes.
I've never spoken like that again.
No.
I used to speak probably from my chest.
Yes, and
Chest
on the
voice.
cords, using them as muscles when they're actually just two little pieces of tissue that flap in the wind. So it's really right here. And right now, I was saying as you walked in, you're using your voice in such a beautiful way. Your body is underneath your speaking sound. It's coming right from here. So it sounds extremely optimistic. It sounds very forward. You sound very confident. It's very virile in its sound. It doesn't have that broken sound that can sometimes sound a bit self-conscious.
Yeah, it's almost like I was trying to think about how I used to speak, and it's kind of like trying to sound cool or something. You know, like, like
You're way cooler now.
I've always had a pretty nasally, like higher tone.
Right.
So I think I was a little like self-conscious of that when I was younger. So just leaning into that.
No, totally. Did you continue singing after that?
Absolutely.
And you guys, tell me about it.
Yeah, so Stutterfly ended up breaking up, you know, as bands do. I joined another band called Secret Whisper. I sang some background vocals in that, but then that band broke up as well, which bands do.
That's how bands are. It happens.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But then I started a band called Shreddy Krueger, and I was the lead singer. So I was screaming again. I was singing very high again. And you actually gave me, I've been wanting to tell you this for years.
Oh.
You gave me the best advice I've ever gotten from anybody.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear what I said.
About my voice. So I brought some singers to you that I really liked. And I was like, I love this singer. I think it was like Anthony Green from Circus Survive and a couple other bands like to that extent. And you're like, I got some bad news. Like, you're never going to sound like them. You're never going to be able to sing like them, but you can sing like Jordan Chase. And you can make people want to sound like you. And I was like, it was like a power unlocked.
Oh,
so as once I started,
wow, how gratifying!
It felt like feeling comfortable in my own skin and just being like, this is my voice, and
oh my gosh,
there's nothing I can do about it. Good, and it's a good thing.
Be yourself, and then wow, and that you took off. It was just amazing. I am so proud of you, and the fact that I still tell people the story to this day that if someone wants something that bad, they will hang on to it. You had that courage of spirit and that tenacity, and it took a lot of self-discipline to be quiet for that long. Truth is, I don't know how else those cords can heal without just being put on rest. Right, but doesn't always take that long. But in your case, because there were three, right, and because you were in big, and look at you now, it's amazing. And now it's so interesting because you can sing and not end up putting yourself in any particular compromised situation.
No, you know, like screaming is never really good for your vocal cords, but I think there's ways to kind of get around it.
100%.
And knowing when you're done.
Right.
When you've done a session for a
rest,
bit.
And don't sing yourself fully out of voice, but stop before you're fully out of voice. So I say you can ration those sounds like butter during the war. Don't do it all the time. But on occasion, it's really appropriate for certain genres. It's just keeping you healthy. So, okay. And then you moved forward. And now tell us what you're doing now. Because we have this little clip we'd like to play while you're telling us all about it.
Oh, I like
very much. This has been awesome. That's incredible. In fact, you don't know this, but some of my upcoming guests have recorded with you. And you will be mentioned, and you will be celebrated.
Oh.
Not just tolerated, but celebrated.
Stop.
Yeah.
Who? Can I know?
The little one, that little Layla.
Oh.
Right?
Don't even get me started on her.
That's a little magical one. That little one. Layla Gershoni, she's getting mentioned again. Her dad's going to sponsor the show. That's why we're mentioning her over and over again.
I was speechless about her.
Right?
When I recorded her.
I know.
Speechless.
Magical child.
Yeah. And the fact that she wrote the tune on her own.
Uh-huh.
I was like, who wrote this? She was like, I did.
I know.
I was like,
I know.
It's impossible.
Brilliant, unique, prodigy. Seriously.
I think she's got a very, very bright future.
Oh, yes.
She's
And
amazing.
there's a lot of responsibility when you record or when you try to educate somebody of that nature. You think, whoa, it's very sobering.
It
right?
is. Yeah. She's, watch out for that one.
Right. So how can people reach you if they're interested in working with you?
That's a really great question. I'm terrible to get a hold of. But
Call me. I now have his number.
I do have an Instagram page, which is Udalala Recordings. That's usually where I get most of my contacts through. Or you can email me at udalalarecordings@gmail.com.
That's great.
I will have a website at some point.
Sure.
I'm just
It's
terrible at this thing.
Well, you're like me, where we're these artists, creative types. That sort of stuff feels a little tedious to us. It's sort of administrative and,
yeah. Even starting this business, I didn't really think about the business aspects of it.
No, of course.
Of like, oh yeah, taxes and like this stinks.
Right, exactly.
Like, don't I just record bands and put out records? Like, yes, but no.
Yeah, we'll put on some links on the program notes here. You could always find all of my guests listed on my website, Alexandra Babbel Studios, as well as Kelowna Now is our sponsor and the reason for all of this. We are so grateful to Kelowna Now. We are now beginning to seduce some other sponsors to help us with this show. Colin Ford of Ford Salon and David Henry, Yard and Gershoni, a number of others who are coming forward, and we appreciate that. But particularly fond of Kelowna Now and this beautiful container that allows us to celebrate voices and the way that we can influence others and bring them into a revoiced, from a non-voice to a revoice to wow, what a voice. Is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to our listeners?
No, just thank you so much for having me. And thank you for taking me on the journey. And I still use all your techniques when I warm up and warm down. I help others with it. I'm no teacher like you, but I definitely take that forward. So thank you.
Oh, what a gratifying experience.
Go see Sandra.
Thank you.
I'm telling you.
Thank you so much. What a gratifying, exciting morning for us. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you at our next episode. The very best. Take care.